Yo, what's up, Banter fam? Welcome to another episode where we're going to be battling out Bitcoin. I've got Mr. Birb on the show today. He's going to be coming on shortly, and we're going to be going through our Bitcoin analysis and sort of fighting out on what we're both thinking in the market right now. It's also going to just give you guys a nice little different view as well, and hopefully teach you guys a few little tricks with trading and with TA as well. Little thing that happened yesterday, we had the news come out, we had a quick sell-off, and then we had a quick pump in the market. And yet Bitcoin has now made another higher high in the market. Now, we're not too surprised to see that we're getting a little pullback because we know that the RSIs are sitting quite high. So we know at some point there is going to be a little pullback in the market. The main damn thing is we keep securing the higher highs in place. So this is always a good sign because once we have detected a higher high, we then want to see a higher low. And this can then be a great signal for liftoff in the market. We have a few alts which are getting to our buy zones, and we have a few alts that have taken off as well. So I'm going to be going through all of that with you guys. We're going to be battling out Bitcoin as well as a few altcoins, as well as dominance for you guys. No more wasting time. Let's get into the show.
Click, have you heard the news? What? With his finger on the pulse, it's like Sheldon knew. Click, when the sniper shoots, we got Sheldon on the charts, so we never lose. Enter the sniper, sharpshooter advisor. Enter the sniper, he marks the charts right. Enter the sniper, he's calling the cycles. So enter the sniper, click. Time to be dedicated, sniper mode is activated. Explosions in the market are in target, and Sheldon demonstrates. Mirror on the wall, Master Sheldon Tezos all. We got Sheldon on the chart, so we never lose. Enter the sniper, sharpshooter advisor. Enter the sniper, he marks the charts right. Enter the sniper, he's calling the cycles. Enter the sniper, click. Enter the sniper. Enter the sniper.
Yo, Banter fam, as you can see, I had a quick change of mic set as I battle to hear other people sometimes when they join the stream. Welcome, guys. Welcome to our beloved Banter fam community, as well as welcome to anyone that is new that is watching. Do me a favor, if you are brand new, make sure you hit that like, hit that subscribe button. Make sure you're following all of us on all our social media platforms, as that are the tools that we use to get hold of you guys and to help communication with you guys. Remember, I'm only here 30 minutes a day, and the rest of the 23 and a half hours of the day, you need to be a part of our social media so that I can communicate with you guys when anything massive is happening in the market. If we jump on here quickly as well, remember, guys, we are about 150 followers away on our TikTok. When we get to 5,000, I will be giving away 3 Moonscape NFTs. The 2 standard ones are valued at around 0.3 to 0.4 ETH. And then we got the big bad boy that's worth about $2,000 to $3,000 for you guys as well. So when we do hit 5,000 followers, I'll be giving those away, as well as giving you guys a Rebel bot, which I gave away one yesterday. When we get to 2,000 likes on the stream, I'll be giving this away to you guys as well at the end of the show. And remember, with Rebel bots, guys, if you do have an NFT, it does then apply for you to be a part of their IDO, and that just gives you guys a nice little investment opportunity for you guys to get into a really good project at an early rate. So, guys, let's get into it. Let's jump. Let's have a look. And I think I'm actually going to start it off straight away with Birb the man. What's up, brother? How you doing?
What's up, bro? Good to see you. Good to be here.
Good, dude. I think it's been a while since me and you have battled it out, and I just thought it would be great for us to jump on just to give the different views. You know what I mean? Have a look. You know, is this a breakout from Bitcoin? You know, are we finally out of this 3-month? You know, what do I call it? I call it irritation, or what do you call it? A difficult time where it sort of flushes everyone out. It makes them sort of want to hate Bitcoin, hate crypto again. And then, you know what I mean? And this is when we know the big guys start obviously taking the opportunity. And, you know, I wanted to sort of get your thoughts on Bitcoin, get your thoughts on The altcoin sort of lagging a little bit right now, and I am seeing a possibility of a nice alt catch up coming through. But I think that will only come through when Bitcoin really gets to more confident levels. I think the people are getting attracted to Bitcoin again at these levels, but I think they're still very scared because of the last little run we've had. And obviously, we got the big bad Litecoin that you've been speaking about. And I sort of got a bit of analysis on Litecoin. And I thought we can also go through that. And I think let's just have a great show, brother. We can open up to the floor as well and see if there's any questions from the audience. But I think it's a nice time now that I'm sitting here battling Bitcoin every day and I'm giving the charts. And it would just be lovely to sort of see that I'm looking at little things. The first little thing that I was looking at is, Bitcoin getting to a very key level of the 44 to 46,000 range. It's given us finally the first higher high since this long downwards trend. So that was a very interesting thing for me first. That sort of got my attention with that. And now I'm looking at the point where my RSIs are a little bit overbought at this point. So I'm sort of happy that, we have secured the higher high. We're starting to show some good strength to the upward side. And I'm sort of getting into a habit of teaching the community that, be very careful with chasing pumps. I think that's a big mistake that a lot of, we keep going through these cycles, and I still feel people are getting trapped in this quite a bit, and rather get really skilled at buying the correct pullbacks and confirmation buys. I think that is always reset RSIs, oversold RSIs, and that's what I'm sort of looking at now. Is that we got a big sell wall at the zone. We do have the RSI sitting a little bit high. We have secured the higher high, which is a good site, and now I want to see us basically come down, test our support, get those RSIs, shorter time frame RSIs reset again, and then hopefully look at Bitcoin, then start to chase off the next higher points. And I'm looking at regions of 50k, 52k. If we can reclaim and hold the higher points, and I'm basically waiting for the signal of this RSI to make its way down, get a little bit oversold. Hopefully we are holding the region of the $40,000 zone. 39 as my sort of bare minimum. I don't think I really want us to go too much lower than 39. And if we can hold those levels, it gives us a good reason that Bitcoin can then look to break the high again and look to start, sort of reclaiming. So I would love to hear your thoughts, brother. And if you do want to be sharing your charts at any point, let me know. And I want to know, those are my key things I'm looking at now. And I'm looking at dominance sort of showing sideways momentum. And when dominance is not really fully focused on Bitcoin, that's usually giving me a little signal too, that, confidence, there's still confidence in altcoins. And if the market was really in such a bad place, usually they don't care about altcoins. So I have a few things, and I'd love to know, what are your critical things that you're looking at on Bitcoin now? And do you think this, we're going to have a month or two of green again in the market?
Yeah, what a powerful intro, man. This is all the story already laid out the way it is. I want to start off by saying huge appreciation, and I fucking love your intro, man. I mean, this song is pretty catchy. So well done on that for the intro.
Thank you, brother.
Yeah, I also love the entire community, Banter fam. I mean, somebody said in the comment, I was smiling at those comments reading, and it's true. I mean, there are so many beautiful vibes, and I think there are not many communities like Banter fam out there. So I definitely appreciate all of you guys, and it's very amazing to have you today as well. And
thank you, brother.
Well, I wanna start off. I have my charts somewhat ready. So, but before we jump there to my charts, I want to just kind of comment on what you said, and I do believe that you've mentioned pretty specifically and pretty much on the point, and the same way I see it actually, in the markets, we're looking at somewhat of 37%, if I'm not mistaken, 37%, upwards recovery ever since hitting the lows at $33,000. So for many people, at times you would see they argue that it's barely moved, that it's barely pumped, while 37% is not a barely moved, right? It's actually like a huge pump if you think about it. So $33,000 all the way up to $45,000 where it's currently resisting. I can see it, I can see a lot of logic behind this level being some sort of like a middle stop, but I personally don't believe this is that peak, that the end of this upwards recovery, if you will. And I do have a couple of points to mention in a second over the charts as well, justifying and confirming that, in my opinion, this strong recovery is actually the first case and instance of follow through to the upside over the course of the last 3 months, ever since the correction started off $69,000, right? With the Evergrande news on the very peak, the very same day, the very same hour, and the very same minute, coincidentally enough.
There's always got to be news that's got to back the move, right? Always.
This is interesting, man. I mean, it's not just a coincidence of a day, of an hour, but it's a coincidence of a minute, right? That peaked, that made equity markets peak, that made Bitcoin peak. So it's pretty interesting. But if we actually, if you could let the charts play,
of course, brother. And before we do jump onto the charts, I do want to ask: do you think this market has become a I think it's changed a lot personally in the last year to what we were used to, 2-3 years ago. And I feel like the ranges have really increased a lot of the volatility. And the only reason I can think of that is there's a lot more people fighting for the coins now. And I feel like there's a lot more big guys that are in, which means it is going to be a very rapid, aggressive market. And I think one of the biggest insights I would love from you as well is, through the last, we had the May crash last year, and now we're going through the cycle, a very similar one to what we got. How do people sort of change their mentality to say that this market is aggressive? It is, it is that sort of crazy, but the market is literally 33 to 50%. If you look at a lot of the alts, down from the bottoms that we got 2-3 weeks ago, or the opportunity is massive, when it comes to understanding when it's money-making season and when it's non-trading season. And I think that's a really big thing, that if people can just sort of relate the two, that the more you're actually trading in the market, the worse, because you actually, you're putting at risk all the time. And if you could rather learn to only trade 3 months of the correct months within a year, you can actually really make massive gains. And I think people just got to start getting used to that now. People think the more they trade and the more that they're in and out of the market, the more money they're going to make. And I think it's we can see that very clearly. We've been through I can't believe we went to 65,000. We came back to 29,000. We went to 69,000, and now we came back to 33,000 in the matter of 1 year.
It's wild. It's wild.
Let's see if I can get your charts up there, brother.
Just like you said, to be honest, right? So the biggest point, the biggest pain point actually, to me, is what you laid out perfectly, in terms of the range, right? When you think about it, we are still from the major time frame point of view. This is one of the main reasons why I do not believe, this is not a bear market and it's still a bull market. To be resumed, if anything, is just kind of frozen perhaps for us for a moment. But how you define, trends in the market is very simple, right? You need to see a follow through to the upside or to the downside. Is you have a peak, you have a low. If you have a follow through to the upside, which is actually higher and it maintains, higher low at the same time, right? Then this is how we define, the upwards trend, the sequence of higher highs and higher lows, right? So if you have a sequence of lower highs and lower lows, this is how we define a downwards trend. And anything that doesn't match either the bullish, trajectory or the bearish trajectory is considered sideways. So we have here all the cases of expanding range, expanding patterns, like contracting patterns, all of this bullshit which doesn't make sense virtually for any consequence. You just see markets swinging back and forth, and this is basically what we've seen for the course of the entire year so far, ever since 2021 basically kicked off with the breakthrough $42,000, and this is one at the same range. Right. So after a very explosive, post-COVID recovery 2020, right, we entered this the sideways trajectory, which means that there's basically limited momentum, as in the market orientation is more horizontal rather than upwards trending, right? So we don't see this follow through, and instead you would see this follow through kind of attempts being faded, trapped, failed, if you will, right? And somebody in the chats in the nest in the Birdness community actually asked me like about the importance of weeks, the candle shadows, right? So when you see a candle body, and this candle body has has a wick standing out, outside of a previous high of a range, let's say, right? Then this is what actually creates this range, as in the failed attempt to break through, right? To break out above it. So if you actually kind of like imagine, you zoom in, right? You have this sort of like candle looking thing, and imagine this is green or orange in my case, if you will. Then it opens up somewhere over here, right? It trades or somehow, to the resistance, of the highs, where having the previous high established by the closing here, right? So it kind of like breaks out through this resistance on the underlying timeframes, and it fails to close above this new support, right? So it's an actual kind of like a failure. And you have a case where, again, you have a resistance broken, which based on the polarity change principle should flip the polarity and become a support, right? And instead it fails. And this failure is an exact reason why we have no follow through to the upside, why we have no momentum pressing, why we have no trend per se, right? We have just this choppy sideways environment. And this is, as much as we had, a very strong upward expression of the, $33,000, $4,000 lows, all the way up to $65,000 highs, which is basically like 16, 17x to the upside. We entered this sideways thing, and the sideways like lays out the overall lack of momentum, the lack of like directional consensus, the market swinging back and forth just like you would play ping pong, table tennis. And this has been the narrative for the entire year so far, which means that if this is the big narrative, then each and every single time frame below that is going to be like accompanied by this bigger time frame trajectory, right? So every single smaller breakout is going to have higher chances of being fake. Every good chart pattern that seems bullish will eventually break down. Every good bearish looking pattern would eventually break up, and it just brings a lot of confusion. And the way I look at it is because we're moving in this range, you have the range lows territory around like $30,000, arguably. You have the range highest territory between $65,000, $70,000, again, if you will. And based on the price action alone, like if you trade inside a range, that you have a couple of what I give usually 3 range strategies to trade and to play. You have inside range trading, which means that you basically agree to buy the range lows and sell the range highs. So you kind of like play the range between the boundaries.
Trade the range. Yes.
Yeah, trade the range inside the range. I'm not really a big fan of it because by definition inside the range it's not trending. So we're going to have a lot of chop, a lot of technical difficulties, in terms of like seeing the follow through. You're going to get trapped so many times. You're going, if you're playing leverage, you're going to literally lose money as you go so much more often. You have also outside range trading, right? So you can just basically wait for the range to give a final breakout and sort of like a follow through in either direction, and then you can position yourself, right? The range trading is super hard because you cannot really position yourself well in the market because there is no direction, there is no like winning side, right? It just keeps shifting the sides from bulls to bears, and so outside range trading could actually help you out, by having some directional consensus, some bias, some overall trend at all, right? So this is usually what's the safest solution. And the third idea,
I think that just takes a lot of patience.
It does.
That outside trading, it takes you not foaming. It takes you rather. I have a line at 30,000 and I have a line at 65,000, and only once I break one of those, then I'm interested. You know what I mean? I think that's where the patient comes in. Okay, fantastic. Quick question: that little tool that you have at the bottom there, what is that, and where can people find that tool? What do you use that little tool? Because is it very similar to a RSI? Is it a
Sure.
Yeah, please.
Yeah, of course. So this is actually called Birbicator. This is free for everybody on TradingView. You just need to put in the full name Birbicator, and it actually pops up, right? And this is a free tool that is actually, it was arranged by an engineer developed by SignalFi the other day. I think it was more than 2 years ago, so it's or even more than that. Cannot give you the perfect name, but the overall idea is that it is a combination of a trend and momentum indicator, as in you would have well, the stochastic ribbon in here. And this kind of like the most obvious thing is a stochastic ribbon, right? And this stochastic ribbon was naturally a momentum oscillator. It's a momentum indicator which tells you how oversold or how overbought the market gets. Right now, we can actually just see that the market is, despite it's still 37% off of the lows, it's still as oversold as it was during the the bottoming process of May through August 2021, or even the entire period, from when Bitcoin was trading somewhere around like $9,000 to $7,000, something like that. So each and every single occurrence, the last and well in this bull market history, and I separate with the line here that what was happening before the bull market started, because that was definitely different market, different cycles, so you cannot kind of like confuse these cycles. But as long as it is a bear market, this oscillator is going to be found mainly in the lower half. If it's a bull market, you're going to find it so much more often in the upper half, right? Especially when the momentum to the upside is strong.
Okay, and I see the first little orange bar there. We've just obviously had a little cross now in the thing. Like, is that sort of what you're looking for? Is the sort of cross of the indicator now starting to turn to the orange and looking to see now you're obviously getting, is that volume, those bars?
No. So it's not volume. This volume is an actual, if you will, this is an actual TK oscillator. I mean, this is derived of the Tenkan and Kijun of Ichimoku system, right? So it is a combination of momentum, trend, and Ichimoku, kind of like all in one.
Okay.
And the histogram actually tells you, well, first of all, the direction and the distance, between Tenkan and Kijun crossing, which means that if the distance, if the histogram showing the distance from Tenkan and Kijun is, shrinking, the bars are shrinking to the upside, this means that Tenkan, the shorter term average is actually just approaching the longer term average. So Tenkan is approaching Kijun, but those are also not Tenkan and Kijun per se. Those are some other indicators developed on top of that.
Okay, great. No, I was just interested so that maybe guys can go have a look and go see. Maybe it helps with their sort of thing, because it looks pretty interesting. I'm gonna
very
go look.
simple. Yeah, very simple clue is that if the histogram kind of like decreases, it means that Tenkan and Kijun oscillators are kind of like approaching one another. When you see it cross through the neutral level, just like you would see here or here, right? This is an additional confirmation that there is a cross over the Tenkan and Kijun. So it's an additional cross of bearish crossover, bullish crossover. It just lays out a complete picture for the trend and momentum. So it shows you oversold, overbought, trend shifts. I love it.
Okay, fantastic. So quick clarif. So obviously, guys, if you want to go have a look at that tool and that to sort of play it, I think we'll get a nice thing at the end of where the guys can follow you and get that sort of view. So just to quickly clarify, and I know that there was probably a third thing to say as well, that you're looking at your in sort of range trading, which is trading the range on where we're flowing. And, we can sort of admit that Bitcoin's made a bigger range. We have a ton more, I wouldn't say adoption happening, but we have so much more people interested in the world. Everyone's fighting for the same damn Bitcoin. There's no more Bitcoin. You know what I mean? And this is why it makes sense that the ranges are getting bigger. So you got the in-phase trading, then you got the out-phase trading, which is to say, Bitcoin keeps making these sort of range highs. They're sort of making these range lows. And let me rather wait for the clear breakout of each, and then that will give me an indication of where the market's sort of directing in. And then you said there was a third one.
And the third one is don't trade a range at all. You can just
okay.
No
so
position
what do you
times is just a position as other, right? I personally.
And what do you mean by that? Don't trade a range. Is to rather have a look at a simple strategy that can help you with entries, and then like make sure you got a structured exit point. You don't know if Bitcoin's going to get there, so just like make your decision on, I want a 20% trade, and when you get there, you take it. You know what I mean? Or are you talking about a little bit more dedicated?
Yes. So you can basically, do not trade range at all means that, you don't necessarily perhaps want to be long in the bottoms, or for example, shorting the tops, right? Because this is what you could do by inside range trading. Optionally, if not futures, then you can just buy spot or sell spot or take profit, if you will, at the end of a range. But do not trade range at all means basically that you perhaps don't want to hold your money in crypto for the time that range is continuing, and you can just search for other opportunities outside crypto, right? To put it in simple terms.
Until it's made its decision, and then you can start.
Yeah, exactly. Right. And
Okay.
and on top of what you mentioned about the ranges getting bigger, I mean, man, this is insane, to be honest, right? I'm just going to be very quick about it. But the range, this is logarithmic chart. So the higher it goes, the bigger values, the more shrunk they are in the visual aspect. But this freaking range itself is $40,000 wide, right? The
I can't believe
base
it.
of
It's
this
crazy.
range is $40,000, which is basically, just for comparison, twice as large as the entire Bitcoin's, freaking history to the upside until 2017 peak, right? So we're talking about
Crazy,
just
eh?
range, just a period, of a break, of a moment taking a breath by the market, being twice as large as the entire Bitcoin's history, like in the past. So this is wild. Usually, when I marked this rectangle before, usually used to get those ranges which were like $1,000 wide, like $500 wide,
And
something
now
that you were also
that's
seeing.
crazy.
Exactly. And this
If
is
the world's not talking about crypto right now, then you're living under a rock. You can clearly see it on the chart that it's just become a lot more sort of range. So let's jump into
true.
shorter time frame view, buddy. What are you thinking on the short time base, and how are you trading it? Or what is your how are you treating the short term breakouts, and what are you looking for?
Of course, yeah. So this is the simplified version. This is 12-hour chart. This is my favorite time frame, actually, because it shows you enough of
Me too.
short-term time frame to have a short-term periods, kind of like in line, and at the same time it shows you the bigger context, right? So it's like a fair bridge between short and long term. So I love to use it this way. Daily is more skewed towards high time frame, so I prefer 12 hours here. And this is just for everybody's kind of like information, a developed, freshly new, redesigned version of Birbicator Pro, which is an a way more kind of like complete trading system than this histogram and oscillator that I showed you and explained before. And most importantly, this has like tons of utilities, right? You can choose to display your strategy as you wish, to play the trends per the averages, or some supply block visualizations per the price action, pivots, momentum. So regardless of what your trading style is based on this trading system, I use it in a very simple manner, because there is one indicator that is called CTF Trailer, right? CTF Trailer, which stands for current time frame trailer. So this is the support and resistance kind of like level, which is dynamically adjusted to new pivots and to new changes in the market, right? And you can tell that ever since Bitcoin actually broke through the previous floor of about $63,000, mid-November, Bitcoin has had remained under the bearish impact. It's not that this is necessarily a bearish trend always, because it can flash the bear sign whenever there's sideways, for instance. But this informed you that the bears had the upper hand, right?
They had
Whenever it
control.
flashes bull,
Yes.
I read it as a bulls have the upper hand, or the bears have the upper hand, so they have more to say. It doesn't necessarily mean they're going to prevail like immediately, but most importantly, this entire current time frame trailer history was actually for the 3 months straight, staying so-called bearish, quote unquote, until the very recent breakout through $40,000, right? So
Okay, so it's
40365.
finally shifted now, and I
It's
think that
finally
does it.
shifted
Okay, great.
for the
Okay,
first time. For the first time in the 3-month history, it's actually shifted first time with this follow through to the upside. It's not just like you fade the breakout all over again, just like you had in the previous
can you
attempt.
show us how this looked on the previous one from May, when we finally
Yeah,
had
let's
that
see.
turn? You know what I mean? That's so a little bit before that, just so we could sort of see. Okay, there we go. So
It
we could
was a
see how we.
quite it was a fairly similar case, right? When you take it back to to make. So similar reading, coming with breaking back then at through $55,000 approximately. Similar bears would have the upper hand. Then there was a bullish breakout, which actually
Fake
then
outs,
later
yeah.
turned out
That
to be
one caught
fake.
me. I remember that one caught me.
I cannot remember if this one caught me too,
It caught me.
but
Yeah.
it wasn't really obvious, right? So it was not obvious at all. And finally, you would have this local interruption, this failure, if you will. Then later continued with a similar signal to what we have right now. So for most of the time, the bears had the upper hand back then. Right now, I see it somewhat similar, and finally we are just broken through. So 12-hour chart, which is my favorite for being open and exposed to short, medium-term positions, which I am fairly long on Bitcoin, Ethereum, Litecoin right now, mainly, is somewhat safe whenever it is trading above this current temperature stop, which is 40496. This is automatically generated based on the most important Bitcoin pivotal levels. So as long as it trades above it, as long as it even, just
And
closes
where's
above
that
it, may wick
sitting? So
down,
that's
it's fine.
sitting around 40,000, right? Because that's
Yeah,
very
it's
similar to where I'm looking at. I think 39 is my absolute low, but I think in order for us to say that, we've broken downwards trend, we have. There's no doubt about that. But now Bitcoin's still going to range, and we know the ranges have gotten bigger. And we just want to sort of know as a community, what are the critical levels to look out on? And what are good,
Of course.
buy opportunity sort of levels. So I'm thinking as well, if we can get a dip, we've made the higher high in the last thing. If we can get a dip in the region of 40 to 41,000, is a good sort of opportunity for me. Reason being is I'm not afraid to enter there because I know that is the critical level. So if we don't hold those sort of levels, it's going to give me that indication. Okay, I've entered now, but now possibly I need to free back into a little bit of cash. But it's sort of still teaching the new sense of mind that people need to be, don't look at this as negative. Look at these as buying opportunities instead of being the guys that chase the pumps. You know what I mean? And
True.
when they see Bitcoin 50K, then they're going to get in. So I got 41,000 as my sort of low. And then I'm sort of thinking that we really want to see Bitcoin make its way to the 50K region on the next push leg up. And I'd love to know your opinion on that.
True. Very, very well said. And fairly speaking, there's this tool that I actually use a lot as well. It's called, it's derived of pivots, and it's called baseline wave pivots, but it is some sort of like a custom name. But long story short, it shows you the most important price action based levels. Price action as in just highs and lows, just twists in the markets, no averages, no volume, just fair price action twists. And you can clearly tell that the most standing out line in the sun is basically set by this resistance and failed breakout, through $51,000, right? If we have a look at it. So it's $51,000. That is a clean resistance. And the clean resistance remains, until, of course, it's actually breached to the upside. But on the lower side, in case we fail to get supported at this current differential stop at 40496, there's quite a fair distance all the way down to $36,700, right? And this would be a proper fake out, as in you would have this recovery, right? You would have this mustn't pump and local follow through, but in case it fails, then it means there is no consequence in holding the support and the market continuing to push higher. So you could interpret it then as fatter indication of fatter sideways and lack of momentum, which would be another few weeks or months of pain, and watching and looking at the charts, people getting depressed and getting no consensus whatsoever. But as long as we hold, as I said, this 40496, I'm pretty positively, set towards retesting at least this $51,000 with potential follow through to the upside if we see some bullish news, like
which
Russia
is quite
accepting
interesting
crypto.
because exactly that. But I think this is where it sort of makes it interesting now. So we can be looking, we just spoke about a big range, Bitcoin being a big range. So I'm sort of looking now, okay, 40,000 is looking to the more or less bottom of where we're talking now. You know what I mean? Now that we've started to shift and stuff, 40K is sort of support I want to hold now. We then have the very critical 51,000, and I also have that zone. And that zone is critical for me because firstly, it's the 618 for the whole leg down. So it's showing that, you know what I mean, like if bears are looking to add to really controlling the market, that's where they're gonna that's where they need to sort of act on very strongly. Is that 51K? And if we can break that 51K to 52K, it's then telling me we can then test the top of the range again, which is around the 70K region. So it's sort of nice. It gives the viewers a sort of view to say, you know, 40K buys now is what we want, and that's sort of the zones we want to hold. And that's the level we want to hold, to know that we're not going to go test the bottom range. And then we know when we get to the 51K region, you know, it's very important to understand that we've just been through a cycle now where we've come from 69 all the way down to 30K. Now, if we get to 51 and we get failed there, it's very likely we can come back to the bottom of the range again. So it gives them a view, you know, possibly freeing up a little bit of cash in that zone if we don't break through it. And if we break through it, then just, you know, gives you that indication, okay, hold my positions, because now we can be looking at the top of the range. And when we get to the top of the range, then we can obviously start to look at the next sort of view. So I think it's nice, but I appreciate it because it just gives the guys the three different, all that I heard this whole time was the three key levels. We got to the top of the range, we got the 51K zone, and we got the 40,000 low at the bottom. And I think that's just something. Do you guys see how, you know, Birb's first charts were the 1 week charts, and that's the best one I think you can be looking at right now, because people can learn to rather, like, you know, it should only be a month or two, no, call it 2-3 months in a year of actual trading. That 1 week chart will sort of give you the view. So I agree, yeah, brother. We got that big wall at 50K, which I think is a big sort of thing to have a look at. I don't know if you've been looking at the stock market much, but it's looking pretty good, and I just hope that can hold out for a while, because it is one that's been playing around quite a bit. Now, next charts that we've been having a look, and I know, just let me know at any time you do need to shoot off, is Litecoin. You know, we've been speaking about Litecoin, and I sort of wanted to give you my views as well, to see that, you know, can we at some point see a Litecoin at $1,000, or, you know, do we think that Litecoin can make it to these regions? And I look at the USDT charts and I'm like, okay, you know, we're sort of forming this downwards wedge at this point. You know, this can be looking at a definite accumulation, you know, accumulate, and a strong push at a later sort of stage. And the USDT chart looks all right, but the one that really gives me the interest to say, okay, maybe Litecoin can make that, is this Litecoin to Bitcoin chart. Like, I can't believe it, man. Like, you know what I mean? Like, we have a look at this and we're like, wow, like, this thing's been rolling down for a while, and this has been a beautiful accumulation when it comes to Litecoin. And we are getting very near this trend. Like, we're getting, you know, this has been a long trend. We're looking at from 2017 to now. So we're looking at a 5-year downtrend that Litecoin can possibly breaking in the next, you know, month or two. And for me, it's like, okay, if we do break here and we just go test those highs, you know, we're looking at a close to 250% outperformance on Bitcoin. We make the next one, we're looking at a 500%. And we look at the next one, we're looking at like 1,000% over Bitcoin. Now, who says Bitcoin doesn't go to 60K or 100K in that time? So, like, you know, I've seen it at times, and I'm also like, you know, if this market does, and we do end up having a strong 2022, like, you know, don't count Litecoin out. There is a possibility that, you know, this chart is showing me a lot of strength, that there's possibly been a long time of accumulation. And when we usually have this, it's very similar to this over here, where we accumulate for a very long time, and all of a sudden you get a complete rip out of this sort of market. Now, I don't know fundamentally, or if the company-wise are, you know, are really improving and matching in with the new world to make this sort of happen. But the chart's showing me a big possibility. And I sort of want to know that, where did you get the thought of $1,000 Litecoin? You know, what gave you that little hint? This is the chart that gives it to me, but I'd love your insight of it.
Yeah. I want to just say, because apparently some of my drawings were actually missing in a screen for some reason. I have no idea why, but I'll make sure to somehow throw in some charts and updates while commenting through the charts. You know,
I'll get the whole community to follow you as well, and they can go find that stuff as well. With
I appreciate it. Yeah, so I'll make sure to throughout the day to guys catch you up as well on Twitter for it. And for Litecoin, you know, the point is that, you know, all my initial plans regarding, you know, Bitcoin hitting $100,000, Ethereum hitting $10,000-$20,000, Litecoin hitting $1,000, all these plans have never been canceled because we have not had any shift in the market. We have just continued inside the sideways, which gives no reason to actually just cancel all these plans. Instead, we have got extended by several months, coming with the Evergrande news pickish, moment. So the way I look at it is that it slowed down, right? But it doesn't mean it's just not going to happen. And like Ethereum $10,000, Litecoin $10,000 is fairly simple calculation. Imagine, of course, these are very like basic assumptions, and nobody knows the future for real. And I don't know if I even wake up tomorrow and we all don't die, tomorrow because an story fucking crashes into Earth or something like that. You don't know that, right? Dinosaurs didn't expect it, perhaps too. But imagine, all of these external factors are somewhat there, in terms of like that. Imagine the charts are the only thing that matters, right? The charts tell you the true story, and there's no like wars coming, there's no new pandemics,
Ignore the news, ignore the FUD. Exactly. Just the charts.
If you ignore that, right, then you come to fairly simple conclusions that if Bitcoin right now is having, and it seems to have a lot of reason for it to be going somewhere towards like $100,000, it's basically 2-3x from here, right? And if it's 2-3x from here, then it means that any altcoin, if it stays flat, even if Litecoin BTC pair just stays flat just the way it's been for the years, if it stays flat and Bitcoin pumps 2-3x, then it means that Litecoin is going to follow 2-3x to the upside as well, just following Bitcoin's appreciation. Because if it remains flat against Bitcoin, it means that, and Bitcoin appreciates, then Litecoin is appreciating USD value as well. So right at this moment, if it gives like $130, $140, whatever, imagine like 150 just for the sake of calculations, 2-3x is going to give you like, $300, $400, $500 approximately. And this is just assuming that Litecoin doesn't move a tiniest bit against Bitcoin. So because like we hadn't never got canceled on this bull market thesis in terms of the ultimate alt season coming, I still believe it's coming. Everything, just like I said, I think the only thing is just it's interrupted, right? Because of the external news pieces that came out. But it's never been canceled. So 2-3x on Litecoin already in USD price gives you a range of $500. And then again, it's assumption that Litecoin doesn't move a tiny bit against Bitcoin. So imagine if the alt season really happens and there is like all these institutions and countries following into Bitcoin, then and into other like crypto assets. Then you have a chance to see a strong upwards trajectory on Litecoin, especially that is very active on the on-chain side and not reflected in the TA part. So you have a situation where the Bitcoin appreciation just takes Litecoin 3x higher approximately. And then imagine if Litecoin starts moving against Bitcoin. It's so undervalued. It's so
especially
flat
that chart.
So
I can't believe it. Like if it really rips, like it's gonna rip, and it's gonna rip hard. Yeah. So I do agree with you, brother. I think, look how aggressive Litecoin got when you were talking about when Bitcoin got aggressive. You know what I mean? Now, if you do have and what creates that? That creates, basically FOMO in that if Litecoin starts breaking its Bitcoin, it's just going to FOMO in, and then all of a sudden we can look at a big reaction. So I know we are quite late on time, brother. I would like to say thank you so much. I appreciate it very much. Where can everyone follow you? Where can the community follow you to get your analysis and to get all your views? Bird's Nest, right?
Yeah, appreciate you, Sheldon. Yeah, so feel free to follow up, guys, on Twitter @CryptoBirb, @crypto_Birb. Actually, I'm the only verified out of all the thousands of impersonators out there.
Crazy, man. I can't believe it. They even, I don't know if they've done it with you, but they've even matched my face. So what they've done is they got that face app and they go do live time, streams or FaceTime with people, and they look like me. Like I was shocked. No, I was absolutely shocked when I saw this, that they're starting to use our faces and they're starting to, like, this guy's not even me. And look how they like managed to literally look at this. So this guy had a meeting with a guy a day ago or 2 days ago. You can see that guy's got hair. That's not me. I got no hair. But look how they literally look exact, and they're able to do live calls with people and they're
What
asking
the
them
hell?
that I will trade for them and I will take their
What
money
the
and all that.
hell?
Like, dude, it's like, what is going
What the
on?
fuck,
You know what I
man?
mean? Like,
I
if
didn't
they
know
just
that.
work this hard on TA, like they would be rich. But they work so
Oh,
hard on
shit.
scamming people. It's like, it's ridiculous.
Yo, that's
So
insane, man.
thank you,
Yeah.
brother. We'll make sure the community go and absolutely destroy your Twitter and go show lots of love. I appreciate it, bro. I think if we can do this a bit more often, it'll be great. And I
I
think the
love
people
it.
really appreciate another
I'm
view
down.
of things. So I
I'm
appreciate
down.
it. Thank you,
I
brother.
appreciate
Have
you.
a great
All
weekend.
best love.
I like all
Bye-bye.
the fitness, eh? I love it, dude. I love it. I love that
I appreciate you, man.
you're inspiring me to
appreciate
get
it.
back to that stuff. Thank you, brother. What awesome, guys. Awesome. And I love that just, it gives a different view for you guys and also shows you the potential of where you can get to your TA. You see, there's a lot of knowledge there. The stuff looks quite confusing and a bit daunting at times, but it just shows you, how you can build up and how you can sort of grow out of that into that sort of thing. So, guys, to sort of numb it down quickly, just as we're closing off here, let's jump on to the last thing of Bitcoin. Let's jump in here. Cool. So, guys, big sell wall here. We know we got the 51K region. We are waiting for these. I still think the simplest tools and simplest ways you can look at is whenever Bitcoin now, especially now that we know we've confirmed the higher high and we're starting to change and we're starting to progress in the market. When Bitcoin's getting to daily and 12-hour oversold positions, that's where we want to be adding. And let's actually have a look here to see that where are the altcoins sort of looking at things. ETH looks like it's hit a temporary buy zone for me now because it feels like the alts haven't got their high just yet. And this is why we're not getting the full correction in the market yet, is because we're waiting for that total 3 to get where it needs to get. So ETH has broken that long downwards trend. It's come in, it's tested, and it's looked like it's going to, want to chase the next higher high, which is around $3,500. So, that's giving me a little bit of good indication. We had a Bitcoin breakout last week. If we can have an ETH breakout now, and then a major alt breakout, we are restarting the damn market cycle again. So that's really good. I was then looking at, obviously, the Theta explosion yesterday, which was fantastic. You see how beautiful it is when you do track these long downwards trends and you get that beautiful break. You literally, that's the part of it, guys. Imagine buying a coin and it automatically gives you a 30% into the profits. See, then it won't rush you out on these little fake outs. It won't that. So by finding a coin that's in this position, that's good fundamentals, and you're catching it right there, it gives you that boost, very similar to what happened on Bitcoin, is you would have bought there. And that's 37,700. You won't be scared now if Bitcoin comes to 40K because look where you've entered. And that's the same thing that you're looking at that one that's just broken through that. And now ETH is just giving you that little signal too. So remember, work on the basics of the the simplicity of identifying that that's a strong break that we got in. Link has hit the buy zone for me. This is looking good. There can be another little shake that can bring it to $16.50 over the weekend. But I think this is an investor. Link is absolutely looking fantastic right now. There was a few others. I did want to have a look. Moon River, guys, we keep speaking about it. It broke, it got the higher high, and it's coming in the zone now. So $80 to $90, Moon River. I think it's absolutely very, very cheap. And I know Rand would be agreeing very much with me right now on that one there. Now, one that's looking good, it is the chart of the day on the website. Near Protocol, guys. We have bullish divergence here, right? We have the 12-hour RSI, which is nearly to the bottom, and we're literally on support right now. So we have the 8-hour at the bottom. We have the 4-hour at the bottom, and we're about to get the 12-hour to the bottom. So near protocol, we know what they're doing fundamentally and how great they are. This is looking great for me. So this is looking fantastic. Our signals are showing us great now. That near protocol is looking fantastic at this point. Another one, as I said yesterday, there's the break, there's the test for FTT. So that's looking super strong as well. Atom is nearly there. Another one that's getting to key zones. I think we can test, 26K. Oh, not 26K, sorry. That would be great, 26K. $26. If it does go there, it's a bargain, but we are getting to the zone now. With this 12 hours nearly at the bottom, it's showing strength. We then have VET. Look at VET, guys. VET's breaking that long trend now. We're waiting, obviously. We look on the 8-hour that's just been reset. The 4-hour's just been reset. So I'll be looking at over this weekend. If this 12-hour gets to the bottom and we're still holding above this trend, VET is showing tons of strength as well. Tezos, we got the high. We've come back to test buy zone again. I'm waiting for that 12-hour, which can happen by later on tonight or by tomorrow first thing. Tezos. We can see how this thing rips. Look how beautiful that bounce is, guys. Even though we're in a long downwards trend, look how Tezos literally rips. It literally ripped 90% in the last 2 weeks. So this coin gets accelerated and it moves very quickly. So Tezos is the next one, which is showing deep strength. And I think that's more or less, I still think Mana's on support now. Sand, possibly a little bit lower. I think it will come in the region maybe here to 4.1, 4.2. Next one, we know the metaverse and the gaming plays are really, really shooting off strong. Theta was the example of it. You can see how that absolutely ripped. And we can see the rest. Solana's hit my buy zone perfectly. Remember, guys, all of these are on Coin Panel 2 for you guys. All the buy zones. I think this week we've had about, I think it was about 8 trades on our shorter term views, and 6 of them hit TPs already. You know what I mean? And now they're all getting applied for new buys again. So, you know, we're looking at 80% success on the week for that. Remember, that's how I communicate with you guys, is through that. You know, Cardano, remember we spoke about that. I still see another week or two of a consolidation there and then a break. Dots hit my buy zone. Beautiful higher high, test of support. It's now testing beautifully into the buy zone. Looking at MATIC, it broke that long downwards trend. We're fighting hard and strong here. So MATIC, possible 1.7 entry if we do have a little shakeout again of Bitcoin to 41. But if we get this 12 out to the bottom now over today, tomorrow, and we hold this trend, you know, MATIC showing a strong moon to 2.5 anywhere there. Oh, Ran, the man. I'm sorry, it's a longer show, brother, but we're giving some great insights here on everything. I can't hear you. There we go.
I didn't know you were live.
Yo,
I just jumped in the studio.
What's up, brother? Oh, you just jumped on to say what's up.
You told everyone that there's a call-in show later.
No, call-in show, guys. We're doing a call-in show.
Call-in show later.
Call in, tune in. We're going to go through that. I think that's going to be great. Are we going through portfolios again, or what we're going to chat about? Just
yes, we are going to talk about portfolios. We're going to get things that are worrying the Banter fam. If there's anything worrying you and you're part of the Banter fam and you maybe need our help, we're here for you. We're going to help people structure their portfolios. Also, we're going to talk about how important Monday is for crypto, because Monday is huge. Monday is huge. So that's what we're going to be talking about. Yeah, I mean, if you told them about the KuCoin Bitcoin giveaway, if you reminded them that they can go to the referral link below, open account, and then we're about a ball here away from getting KuCoin to give one of our subscribers a Bitcoin.
No, but now they know now. I was going to close it off. Now they know.
People are saying, I love the glasses. What do you think, guys? What do you think? Yes, no, love the glasses.
Look a little bit more sophisticated. I agree. Professor Rand.
Listen, love you guys. But join us later. 9 a.m. EST. It's going to be the whole Banter fam except Miles. Even Freddy's going to be on the stream. Sorry, I was actually going to do something completely different.
But by the way, Rand, like, we miss Fred. I think Fred is so great when he's on the streams again. I think he's got to come in once in a while. We miss him. We miss him.
Yeah. You want to know a secret?
Yeah.
Can I tell them a secret, Fred?
Don't do it.
I mustn't do it.
No.
Come on, I mean, you can't not do it.
Okay, fine.
Okay, but don't tell anyone. Okay, don't tell anyone about this. Okay, you got to keep it very, very, very quiet, super quiet. Okay.
Yeah.
Listen. Tomorrow is Freddy's birthday, but don't tell anyone.
Freddy! Fantastic, bro. Fantastic.
Don't tell anyone that tomorrow is Freddy's birthday, man. It's Freddy's birthday. It's an emotional day for Freddy, bro. It's his first birthday since he lost his old man. It's an emotional day for him. I get it. But it's his first. It is his birthday. Yeah, it's his birthday. So tomorrow when you wake up, hit Freddy up with a happy birthday and maybe like a message of strength. People asking how old you are, bro.
I'm not going to give it away. I might as well just give them my ID number.
He says, I'm not going to give it away, man.
Love it.
Sheldon, I didn't watch your show because I was busy doing something else. Is the market going up or going down?
Another high yesterday, bro. That was fantastic. So I'm just waiting for my stochastic to get to the bottom. So I'm hoping there's a 41 test. Otherwise, 50K is the next zone. And Birb agrees with me. 51,000 is the key zone for us to reverse.
Up only,
baby. Yeah, positivity, baby.
See you guys again later. Come and join our call-in show. Let's have some fun. Let's meet the Banter fam. We're going to give you some big news about Monday, because Monday, a big day, very big day Monday. incredibly big day.
Yeah. Much love, Banter fam.
Who's this?
Ellen.
Bastard.
All right, you guys, see you later.
Banter fam.
Really now. That's